Can you imagine this? One morning you drive out, only to find that the gas station near your home has shut down. The few stations still open have endless lines of cars snaking around the block, with people waiting for hours just to buy a few gallons of fuel. Some even said they had to wake up at 4 a.m. to queue, only to discover that the gas had already run out when their turn finally came. It might sound like a scene from a science fiction movie, but this actually happened in 1973, when the world was shaken by an unprecedented oil crisis. The cause began in the Middle East. In October 1973, when the Yom Kippur War broke out between Israel and several Arab nations, the OPEC countries, the organization of the petroleum exporting countries, decided to use oil as a political weapon. They cut production and stopped exports to nations that supported Israel, including the United States and many European countries. Within just a few months, the global price of crude oil skyrocketed, jumping from about $3 a barrel to more than $12. What might seem like dry numbers triggered a devastating shock. Economies heavily dependent on oil, like the US, Japan, and Western Europe, were thrown into turmoil. Transportation ground to a halt, inflation soared, unemployment climbed, and most importantly, ordinary people suddenly felt what true energy scarcity meant. Waiting hours in line at gas stations, turning off extra lights at home just to save money on their bills. In the US, the government had to introduce drastic emergency measures. The maximum speed limit for vehicles was capped at 55 miles per hour to conserve fuel. Gas stations sold fuel only on odd or even days, depending on the last digit of license plates. People were forced to change their habits, carpooling instead of driving alone, relying more on public transportation, and in many cases, even going back to bicycles. Leaving a light on all night or taking an unnecessary drive suddenly became a burden. Saving energy was no longer just moral advice. It became a matter of survival. Not only in America, but across the Pacific, Japan faced the same challenge. Yet instead of being consumed by the crisis, they chose to turn danger into opportunity. The government and businesses pushed hard for energy-saving technologies, developed smaller cars with better fuel efficiency, and invested heavily in nuclear power and alternative energy sources. This strategy not only helped Japan overcome the crisis, but also rise to become an industrial powerhouse in the 1980s. In Western countries, a widespread energy-saving movement took hold. People learned to switch off lights when leaving a room, improve insulation in their homes to cut heating costs, and use energy-efficient appliances. Governments promoted research into solar, wind, and other renewable technologies. The phrase energy crisis became a collective memory, reminding everyone that no resource is infinite. Half a century has passed, but the lessons from 1973 remain as relevant as ever. Today, the world faces new challenges: climate change, ever-growing demand for energy, and political conflicts that can disrupt supply chains at any moment. The European energy crisis of 2022, following the Russia-Ukraine conflict, is a stark reminder of this. Once again, the message "saving is gold" has become a guiding principle, not only for every household, but for the sustainable future of humanity as a whole. Because energy is not just fuel for cars or the light in your home, it is the lifeblood of the economy, the foundation of our quality of life, and the key to the future of our planet. That is why every small action today, switching off an unnecessary light, carpooling to cut fuel consumption, or choosing energy-efficient products, carries weight. It is how we protect the environment, save costs, and most importantly, prevent the chaos of 1973 from happening again. Saving is not only about saving money. Saving means protecting stability, protecting lives, and protecting the future. So what about you? If one day you woke up and found the gas station near your home closed, how would you cope? Share your thoughts in the comments below this video.